My name is Roma, and this is Zimlove, a podcast about a feeling that I try to describe through the stories and anecdotes and perspective of others, wonderful people that I've met. And through their stories, I want to change the thoughts and the feelings that people have when they think about this beautiful place. Because once you put it into Google, all that pops up is expensive safaris or hyperinflation or even different stories. But there's a specific feeling to this place. And I want to show you through the eyes of others that after all everyone has been through and is going through, there is still a feeling that is true Zim love.
A pregnant woman, when having a baby with albinism, one could open her dress and spit on the stomach. So by thinking she is preventing her unborn baby from having albinism.
Oh my God, yeah.
So in Zimbabwe, we still have those myths and we still have the discrimination, you see.
So the interview today is with Loveness. I met Loveness at the charity Albino organization of Zimbabwe. And she's a lovely person that agreed to do this podcast for me. She's a mother of many children, which I'm sure she will tell us about. So welcome, Loveness.
Oh, so fine meeting you, Roma, and to everyone listening. It's a pleasure being with you.
Thank you so much. So can you please, just introduce yourself?
I'm Miss Loveness Mainato, the founder, member, and executive director of Albino Charity Organization of Zimbabwe. This is an organization which I spearheaded at the formation, and so many parents of children with albinism came together as the brainchild of this organization to share their experiences as parents of children with albinism. What really inspired me is I do have children with albinism, my own biological children. They were two. Why am I saying they were two? It's a bit unfortunate that the other one, the girl, passed away last year in June, on the 23rd of June.
I am very sorry.
Yeah, so touching. But now I am just have the boy who is now 17 years old. What really inspired me? It's out of challenges, you know. After having children with albinism, I went through a lot of challenges. And to me, it was like a hell on earth, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah, because it had mixed reactions. Having children with albinism, so many mixed reactions from my spouse, from the relatives, his relatives, and from my side. But I just want to thank God that from my side, my relatives just welcomed everything, because what they just said is, it's so important that you have a child or you have children. Others do not have any children at all. So you have to accept what God has given you. Yes. So after giving birth to these children, my husband's relatives, they influenced him into dumping the family. He deserted the family because of their influence. They said it was something unheard of in their family, having a child with albinism.
Can you tell us a bit more about it? What does it mean having a child with albinism? So in their interpretation, it was something unfortunate.
Yeah. Actually, having a child with albinism, it is out of for both parents having the genes of albinism. It's not one-sided, like we are to blame the mother or we are to blame the father, but genetically, both the parents will be having genes of albinism. And as well, this condition can be hereditary. That is from the ancestral side, if I can say. There will be some, in the generations, there will be a person with albinism within that family. So having a child with albinism is not punishment or whatever some people might tend to say about the conditions. There are so many myths related to albinism, but as an organization and as a person by myself who is experienced into it and has vast knowledge about the condition, we are here to sensitize the community and give awareness that it is not out of any negative myths that a child has albinism.
Is it something typical that the mother gets blamed? And why is it considered something bad?
Actually, in the African culture, it is always the mothers to blame. And I don't know why it is like that, because women are always given the blame when a child has a disability, not only albinism, but other forms of disabilities. When a mother gives birth to such a child, there's always the risk of here being pointed fingers at that it is because of the mother that the child has this condition. And as a result, the spouses, the fathers, they end up running away from the family. So the women are left by themselves to fend for the family and the upbringing of the children by themselves.
And is albinism considered a disability?
Yeah, actually so many people seem not to understand that albinism is a disability. And if we can get it from the term disability, it means that what is expected of your body parts, somehow it is not naturally done. For example, if we are saying a person with albinism has a disability, we are referring to other body organs that are failing to deliver what is expected of them without the aid of something. For a person with albinism, the skin itself cannot fight the heat radiation by itself. The sun rays. It needs the assistance of the skin medicinals, which are the sunscreen lotions. And also we can see that most of the people with albinism have a challenge in eyesight. Their eyes are shaking always. So that's a disability as well. So albinism in itself, it is a disability.
So just for me to understand, so it's the skin that has no protection against the sun, that needs extra help.
Yes.
In addition to that, we're going to come to that maybe, is the eyesight.
Yes, the eyesight.
And then the third thing is that there are maybe some organ failures connected to albinism that can occur. Did I understand that right?
Yes, that's true. That's true. In most cases, if the skin fails to fight against the heat radiation, the sun rays by itself, and no assistance is there, the assistive devices like the sunscreen lotions, we end up having some dying of the body cells, and this will result in some cancerous wounds. Yes. So you see, that's why we regard albinism as a disability.
And that must especially be hard here with the African sun, to have the amount of sunscreen that is needed for protection. And the sun is always there for us. For example, in Germany, what we call German summer is, let's say, maybe I would say 2 months tops out the year. The rest is maybe winter. It's cloudy a lot of times, but here the sun is out.
You see,
more than 11 months of the year.
Yes, more than 11 months. And that's our climate here in Zimbabwe, where most of the time we'll be experiencing the sun effects. It will be extra hot and always causing discomfort, and that affects persons with albinism much. Yes. But not only do we have people with albinism here in Africa, almost everywhere, the whole world. You know, at times I didn't know that the white-skinned people as well can have albinism.
Yes, it's true.
Yes, I didn't know. Only when I came across it through researches that I got to know that each and every species on Earth can have albinism.
It's just more visible, of course, here.
Yes.
But no, it is true. Albinism also occurs in all parts of the world. And also, I also know somebody with albinism in Germany. Yeah.
Okay. And if I may ask you, you said there are some people with albinism in Germany. How do you compare it to persons with albinism in African countries? Because as I see it, it appears in European countries out there, they seem to understand the condition much better than us here in Africa.
I feel like there's not much knowledge about people with albinism in Germany.
Okay.
Like I said, I met this one person, but this is the only person I've ever met. So, but whereas when I go here to the university where I work, there is more awareness of people with albinism. Like they have special tests. I think it's because of the vision. So maybe the question paper will be in bigger letters with a bigger font, things like this. So I feel like the awareness here is much higher in a way. But a big difference I feel, and this is what I would like to ask you about, is the stigma. You do see maybe sometimes posters you pass, she's more than her skin, where, you know, a girl with albinism is shown. There's so much more subtext. There's so much more underlining the pure condition itself. Can you maybe tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, it's really very true that there's a lot of stigma and discrimination in most African countries. And that's why you see a lot of awareness campaigns, some posters, a lot of information dissemination on the circumstances surrounding albinism. Because here in Africa, it appears these years, particularly these generations, we are having more children with albinism than before. So such people need to understand actually what causes albinism and circumstances surrounding it. So, of course, we cannot eradicate completely, but we are trying to fight against the discrimination, the stigmatization, and the marginalization. Those are three different things. So, you know, stigmatizing, like stereotyping, like causing discomfort to someone because of his or her condition. You know, we are somehow eroding their self-confidence. When in African countries, they are given some mockery names, they are laughed at, and they are not treated equally like any other person in the society. So that's why you see us here in African countries having some organizations that will help fight for the rights of persons with albinism. Yes, if you know what I'm saying. We do have so many situations, examples being in workplaces. We can have a person with albinism in some workplaces, but not comfortable at all because people undermine his or her capabilities. People underrate him. People will treat him unfairly as if he or she is not capable of performing just like any other person, another employee at the workplace. So we find they are being marginalized. I do have a very good example of someone, I cannot mention by name. He was employed by one of our biggest firms here in Zimbabwe. You know, he couldn't meet the standards or the target, if I can say. You know, people working, having some targets where they have to reach a certain target in their production. He couldn't manage that during the day, and he proposed if he could work by night so that he can miss the target just like others and deliver the expectations of the employer. But they just chased him away. But he was doing very well. He was doing very good. And they chased him away because he had challenges in eyesight and could not speed up the production, you know. He could not speed up productivity, so they chased him away. And some are being denied opportunities to work in some firms not because they do not have the qualifications, not because they do not have the experience, but just because of albinism, their skin condition, they might be denied employment because of that.
And where do you think this originates? And is it like, just does it have like an origin, this mocking names, or is it just, our human nature, you would say, that we don't approach the people we maybe don't have so much knowledge about in an equal way?
Actually, it is because of human nature and the background itself. If I have a child with albinism and doesn't show him or her love, who else from out there can treat my child? That's just the best way I have to do as a parent, to give that parental love, that strong bond between myself and my kid. It should start at home, the background. It should start exactly at home where the child comes from. So if our children lacks that love, lacks that care and support from the immediate relatives, and once they go out there, the risk is high, having discrimination or having stigmatization. Naturally, I don't know why it is like that, because some parents and the immediate relatives, they regard albinism the other way around. They just don't accept it as a condition from God. They regard it as some form of punishment, some form of a curse, some form of a result of maybe witchcraft or prostitution. So that in itself, it kills the confidence in that child. And as he or she goes out there, they suffer that pain of discrimination and marginalization. They suffer that pain of stigmatization and so many negative perceptions surrounding that. So you find people with albinism, especially in African countries, they are not that happy.
What dangers does a child with albinism face when it's maybe born, let's say, in the rural areas or somewhere where these beliefs are maybe strong, that it's some kind of punishment? What are the dangers for a child like that?
The first most dangerous move is the negligence from the parent or the other immediate relatives. So once that child is neglected, he goes out there into the world feeling being a neglected child, and the community itself brings another challenges to a person or a child with albinism, because many do not accept the condition of this child as if it is a contagious. I used to have some parents, a very good example, who wouldn't want their children to play with my children because of albinism. They would actually beat up their children. Why have I seen you with Tapua? Tapua is my son. You were playing with Tapua, why? And those challenges, they continue circulating, and from home background into the community, they are facing challenges. And worse, at school, mostly the children in primary schools, they suffer much, because this is where the foundation of life begins. And you find them being mocked, them being called names. And some teachers, they don't even understand the conditions themselves. Some tend to think it is because of pride that the child with albinism is requesting to sit in the front of the classroom. Some feel it's a bit rude for a child with albinism to ask for better use of brighter colors on the chalkboard, And some feel being challenged to have a child with albinism telling them, teacher, there's need for a large print for myself. They feel challenged as if this child is just ahead of them, instructing them what to do.
I understand. Oh, that must be so hard for you as a mother. I really feel you.
And it's only a month I've been in Magunje, a month from now. You know Hurungwe side, Magunje? You don't know where it is?
No, I don't know.
I had an outreach program there where I've been meeting persons with albinism. I got so touched. A parent was complaining of the teacher not understanding the child's condition much better. and at the same time refusing to be educated on how best she can treat a child with albinism. So she couldn't finish her examination, the paper itself, because she wasn't granted that extra time. It is their right from the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. They allowed that a child with albinism be granted a large font, be granted extra time into examinations, but the teacher denied this girl those rights. So the parent was complaining, you see, my child couldn't excel, couldn't do well because the teacher is denying her some of her rights. So you find these children, when facing such challenges at school, they cannot perform well to the expected levels. You see?
Yeah, these are like the challenges. The one is the challenges with the other kids. And then the other one is maybe also the challenges with the whole system and with the education system. So now you also managed how they're not getting a good start with these challenges, but at the same time, what can be done to help them? You mentioned brighter colors on the chalkboard, yes. Sitting in the front row. I managed the bigger font in the examination paper. It hurts my heart to feel that some people have such a pride that they see, oh, this child is challenging me, telling me what to do about my job, instead of taking up what you have to take up as a teacher, which is if the child already is telling you, teach me like this. Yes. How can you not follow? So what are other things that can support the children?
Like we are engaging with the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. We are suggesting if they could consider educating the educator, that is giving a workshop, some workshops, in fact, throughout the country, so as to educate the school heads and the teachers how to handle a child with albinism. So we are still into negotiations and we are not yet done, but I understand sometime over the holiday we have some decisions on workshops. I think that would be of paramount importance. That would help a child with albinism for the better if we can have the teachers imparted knowledge on them on how they can handle a child with albinism. And it's not only the education sector that is affected, as well health-wise. The health sector is affected. When a mother gives birth to a child with albinism, you find the nurses themselves, the health practitioners, they panic. And in front of the mother, they could shout, in Shona, we are one. And in English, come and see. And it's very disturbing to a mother with the child, because when people are gathering, are calling each other from different words so as to come and see your child, just because he or she has albinism. It's very disturbing. So we say they contribute as well to the stigma. They contribute as well to some form of depression to the mother, because the mother herself won't feel very comfortable having a child who has caused a lot of panic in the whole hospital.
How was it for you when you gave birth? Was it like this?
When I gave birth, I couldn't understand the condition of my child. So I had to ask my doctor, I don't understand. Why is my child like this? And what he just told me is, after 2 weeks, that child will be dark. Completely dark-skinned. Completely dark-skinned after 2 weeks. So just be patient for 2 weeks. And you see the condition of the child changing. And then came the 2 weeks. Gone, 2 weeks gone. The child remained the same. And I had to take the child back again and ask, doctor, there's no change. This little girl, the one who passed away, she's the elder one. She didn't like opening her eyes in the bright sun. So all this I addressed to the doctor. Please help me. This child doesn't want to open her eyes. This child is not changing like he has said. And he just said, just be patient. she will change. So we went back home, and my aunt, one of my auntie, my husband's sister, visited us. And then she started laughing. Much laughter. And I just got so surprised and asked, what's wrong? And I said, your baby, Musope. In Shona, they call Musope. Your baby, Musope. And then she followed, she phoned the other sisters. Please come and see Musope in our family. You know how it feels?
Horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible and so painful. So I had to cry most of the time. And as if it wasn't enough, the worst thing they did was to influence my husband into having an affair with my maid.
Oh my God.
You know? Just because they wanted to prove who is having a child with albinism, who is to blame. Could it be me or him? So they influenced him to sire a child with the maid. And exactly that happened. And it happened the way the devil wants it. The child was dark-skinned. So you see, the blame lied on me. He said, look here, it's not your problem having a child with albinism, but her problem, as you can see, you have a dark-skinned child from the maid. So when I heard the second one, this young man, it became even worse. They told him to just dump the family and disappear. And they could say they are facing some misfortunes in the family because of the children with albinism.
I see, like a bad omen.
Yes, exactly. That's what they told him. So if you continue having this woman here with the children, we are all going to have a lot of misfortunes, the whole family. So by that, I was told to leave that family. Yes. So because of that, that led to the formation of this organization, because I felt deep in my heart that people with albinism, especially when a parent has a child with albinism, she might be going through hell like what I did. So I wanted to give them counseling. I wanted to teach them. I wanted them to welcome children with such conditions. And I wanted the albinism society themselves to be loved, to feel that there are some people who love them, to feel that there are some people who care for them and can provide their needs.
Oh, yeah.
So touching.
Yeah.
But I'm happy because now I can manage to smile. I can manage to share. And my children, they gave me a nickname. They said, you are a hero.
Yeah.
Yes, they said, Mom, you are a hero because you managed to withstand all the challenges that you were going through and managed to transform others' lives for the better by providing counseling, care, love, and support.
And you are not just the mother of one.
Yes.
You are now the mother of many children. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Exactly. So having discovered that these children are neglected, some are dumped, they do not feel loved, they lack the mother's love, they lack the parental care, I registered the organization under the Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare. Then from them, I could ask for children with albinism who have been neglected. Some orphans whose parents are alive, so that I can take care of them, give them that mother's love they deserve, that is lacking on their side. So it is through the Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare that I got to stay with some of these children, some of the neglected children. I adopted them, even some of the orphans. Right now, I have a center where I'm taking care of the children with albinism. Yes. I used to have a very big number, 25 in the beginning. As time went on, the numbers were dropping down. Why? Because some had finished school and I managed to secure some form of employment for them. So they want to stay by themselves.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm a proud mother right now, proud super mom, because most of them, some have been nicely married and some even had white weddings, and some started their families. Now I have 11. Yeah.
That is a big number.
Now I have 11.
Yes. How do you secure everything they need? Like, for example, sunscreen here is very expensive. The amount of clothing, school fees. How can it work?
Actually, as for sunscreen lotions, it's not a big challenge because we do have some partners who discovered that there is need to join the cause and support this cause. So we have some partners like Stanbic Bank. They chip in annually with a big donation of sunscreen lotions and some sunniets. We also have partners like Zimplats, like Tongat Hullets, like ACZ. All these companies, they purchase some sunscreen lotions. They purchase some sunscreen lotions for the children. And as for the fees, we mostly depend or rely on well-wishers. We just approach some churches, some corporate partners, and we tell them about our plight. Then some would say, give me this one. I would volunteer to pay for 2. I volunteer to pay for 3. And they are responsible of the fees for the children. Yes, likewise, some clothes as well are brought by some well-wishers and other church members. So that's how we are surviving, even on foodstuffs. Some just volunteer to bring us some food for the upkeep of the children. But it's not always that we are sufficient. At times, food runs dry, and we continue running around seeking for more and more friends to partners.
I make sure to put the contacts of the organization in the introduction of this episode.
Okay, yes.
What do you wish for the future for people with albinism, for children with albinism that are coming? What do you wish should change?
Yeah, it is my wish that these people have to end up having a self-reliant society, self-reliant persons with albinism society. That is, if you happen to empower them, to capacitate them, then I think we can manage to give them a brighter and better future. Like, for example, the way I'm doing it, that I'm providing for their educational needs. If some people could take such initiatives on board, it will completely change the lives of persons with albinism for the better. So, as an organization, we do plead that we have more corporate partners chipping in providing for these special needs. That include sunscreen lotions, some lip balms, so as to protect their lips from cracking. We also seek long-sleeved shirts so that the skin won't bend their hands directly, their arms. We also seek some floppy sun hats, as protective clothing. Once they have their sun hats, they won't suffer the heat much because the heat won't hit them directly on their necks and shoulders. We also seek some foodstuffs, like I've said, for those orphans and vulnerable children at the center. And the widows, we do not forget the widows out there. There are some children under the guardianship of some widows out there who we could not accommodate at home because we still have shelter challenges. I'm renting the premises that I'm using as shelter for the orphans and vulnerable children. So that's why I cannot accommodate as many as we wish and like, but still we provide for them under their guardians. So in that regard, we continue seeking for more and more help, some blankets, some foodstuffs. We do have an office in town at 109 Nelson Mandela Avenue, Coronet Court, in room 6, where those willing to assist can come and drop anything at the office for the children. And those who might be willing to come and visit the children are so free to do so in Chitungwiza Seke Unity B. And as well, people can visit our social media pages. We are also on website www.alcozim.org.zw. You can go through our webpage and see some of the initiatives that we are doing as an organization.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And if you could talk to a couple, parents that just have had a baby and the baby has albinism, what would you like to tell them, to give them on their way?
To the couple who has a child with albinism for the first time, we encourage them first to give the love themselves to the child. It is the mother's and father's love that makes this child more confident in life. And when a child comes from a happy background, he or she is likely to perform wonders out there because she or he will be confident in whatever they are doing. There's need for a strong bond of love between the mother, the father, and the child. So for those couples who have a child with albinism, for the first time, I encourage them to seek support from our offices. We are here for them to provide the counseling services. We are here for them to teach them how best they can take care of the child. It's like we had a mother who couldn't breastfeed the child, saying, I don't know how I can feed this child. And I don't know whether it's a child or something else. So I had to sit down with the mother and support the breastfeeding system myself, handle the breast for the baby and tell her to feed that baby, and as she sucks like another baby. And also at one point we had a mother who stayed indoors for 6 months. 6 solid months inside the house, not going out, not going to the shops, not going to the church, not even meeting other people in the society because she was too shy. What people will say if they see a child. So in such instances, we have to give enough knowledge to the mother. We continuously visited their home and we could take out the baby ourselves. Then sit in the sun as we discuss with her. And as well, we encourage her to come and have a meeting with others because each and every first Saturday of the month, we meet with these parents and guardians to continuously give them support and knowledge that their children are just excellent. Yes, and should be loved. So we encourage this mother to come and have a meeting with others each and every first Saturday of the month until she ended up so used that it's not me alone. There are so many persons with albinism out there, and therefore I should not feel shy because of my child.
She isolated herself because she was unaware that there were other parents out there that she could also socialize with or just be herself, just be confident, just her child is like any other child and is loved.
Exactly. So we still have a lot of work to do. As new babies are born each and every time, so we still have a lot of work to continue supporting them, to continue giving them knowledge, mostly the parents, the immediate relatives, And the community at large, the community out there, you have to continue educating them. People with albinism are being treated in other African countries. We have examples like Malawi, like Tanzania, like Ethiopia, like Rwanda, where we had some cases of ritual initiatives where people with albinism were being killed because people had a negative mind that they can become easily or quickly rich when they use blood of persons with albinism or any body part. They thought it could bring them some riches and a lot of money. So in our neighboring country, Malawi, children with albinism feared going to school.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, some of them would stay most of their time locked at home because there was fear that they might be killed for ritual purposes.
Are there any myths or dangerous superstitions like this for children with albinism in Zimbabwe as well?
Yeah, we cannot rule out completely that the myths are not there. They are there. And from ancient times, long, long ago, our ancestors, they used to think it's a taboo having a child with albinism in the family. And they could make that child disappear in a so disheartening way. They would just put him away in those big clay pots, the big clay pots. They could cover it until the child suffocates. Then they could go and bury the child in the evenings where no one could tell what really happened at this homestead. So those myths, they continued developing.
And are they all connected to enrich yourself in money? Are they all connected to finances, or is it also connected to?
Some of them are connected to finances, but like I'm saying, here in Zimbabwe, we're a bit lucky because people have no such beliefs that killing a person with albinism, I end up being rich. But our greatest challenge here in Zimbabwe is marginalization. Yes, they are being stigmatized. They are being marginalized in various forms or various sectors of life. Like I have been discussing with you, the educational sector, the economic sector, the social life itself, social sector, they are not free and happy persons with albinism because they are marginalized. We still have some myths here where people do not regard the condition of albinism as a natural condition that occurs naturally from God. Where they point fingers, like we've been saying, they think it's witchcraft, and some say this person has been cursed because he or she might have done something wrong. And you see, we have examples where if you pass by a woman, a pregnant woman, when having a baby with albinism, one could open her dress and spit on the stomach. So by thinking she is preventing her unborn baby from having albinism.
Oh my God, yeah.
So in Zimbabwe, we still have those myths and we still have the discrimination, you see.
I mean, what is, to look on the good side of your story, what is, like, as you say, your children call you super mom.
Yes,
they call you a hero. Yes, and you are smiling while I'm saying saying that.
Yeah,
is the bond that you are making with your children, and even though there's been so much hardship, you are even taking more children in to help them, and it seems like your faith in God is really helping you. And yes, please.
I feel there's every reason for me to keep smiling, because if I manage to transform the lives of these children for the better, and thereby educating other parents out there, that when we provide for our children, when we provide their special needs, they can excel. Yes, they can perform very well like any other person in the society. So it makes me feel so happy that after looking after these children whose mothers neglected them, who were dumped, some even go to the extent of being street kids, and I managed to mold their character back into a good child, I feel so good that before the Lord, I've done something so great. And I feel my importance, my worthiness in the community, because some are trying to imitate the way I'm doing it.
You're a role model now.
Yes, you see now. And I even go to the extent of having some music composed. I'm an artist as well. I do sing. And most of the lyrics were educative to some parents out there, to the community out there, that they should not ill-treat persons with albinism. So I'm so happy and keep on smiling, because there is progress and achievements in my works. And I feel I've made a great impact in the society. Like you are saying, I'm a role model. Some are imitating what I'm doing. We are having children with albinism living better now because they are being accepted by their immediate relatives. And I'm so happy at times when we are having our monthly meetings, the first Saturday of the month, I'm seeing some fathers attending the meetings, which is a great achievement on my side, because earlier on we used to have only mothers. But now we are having the fathers too. They are accompanying their wives to the meeting. Both parents are there. And it is an achievement. So it makes me feel I've made a great impact in the society and in the community. And to that hilarious work, I've also received some awards.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes.
What a wonderful purpose. What a wonderful recognition of your work.
Yes.
And of your personality.
Yes. I've received 4 awards. 2 from the Chitunguza Trailblazers, a great community impact award, and another one in music, of course, music with an impact. So it was music with social impact.
We are ending the episode, so usually with something that describes the Zimbabwean spirit well for you. Could be a story, a song, could be a saying, could be anything. Would you like maybe to sing just a short piece for us?
Okay, it is in Shona though. Usashore munu hauzive chipo chake, usashore munu nokuda kweganda rake, usashore munu hauzive chipo chake, usashore munu nokuda kwezvaari toita basa. Ukaona vachishanda vamwe vedu ivava, ukaona vachishanda vanoshandawo sesu, ukaona vachifara vamwe vedu ivava, ukaona vachifara vanofarawo sesu, toita basa. So what am I saying in this song is...
Thank you so much.
I'm saying, let's not underrate some people because of their condition, because of their skin, because of their disability, because they are capable of doing what we are doing, exactly what we are doing, or they can say pass our standards. So we are saying, if you see them happy, these people, if you see the persons with the disabilities, with albinism working, so please do not undermine, do not underrate them. That's what is being meant in that song.
That's a wonderful, wonderful song. And thank you so much for being my guest. Thank you, Loveness, for taking the time. Thank you so much.